number one of this over here. MaSa is our blue Terran player to the top left-hand side. Let's see if he can pick up a win against the Red Zerg to the bottom right-hand side from Sidestorm Gaming, JonSnow. Then how's everyone doing today? Let me know what's up in the chat. We're finally off of the WCS delay, as I was talking about earlier, which means we can talk so much more easily. So let me know what's up, everybody. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how we're all feeling. Let me know what's up today. Let me know what's up. So, yeah, been some fun games so far. Been some very fun games so far, and the way this is going to work is the first place finisher of this group plays third place from Group C yesterday, which is Raynor. Second place in this group gets to play second place from Group C yesterday, which was Bjorn. And the third place of this group gets to play against DeLaser. Those matches are best of 5, and they take place tomorrow from midday CET, which is in about 12 hours from now. So basically in 12 hours, we're going to have more StarCraft for you. We're going to be bringing you guys those playoff matches. And obviously that'll be kind of interesting to see who will actually be making it through into the OSC Championship bracket. So kind of looking forward to that, as we do have in the early stages of this game. A few things heading across the map here. I mean, this was the pool first, so already kind of looking to get aggressive, but the SCV Scout from MaSa does reveal what's going on. He actually opened up with Marines, which are just going to sit behind a wall off anyways. Becoming very popular to kind of wall off on the natural all of a sudden from Terran players. They've been doing this more and more recently. So, yeah. They've been starting to do this more and more, and I still don't know if I like it, with the reactor being so exposed over on this side. It does give you that sort of, it just does allow you to kind of get that wall off up kind of nicely, and helps you against certain attacks, so. Anyways, we do have a few lings which did come out, of course, which we saw. Actually still just sort of waiting to do anything here, not really kind of going to be pushing in too early now, obviously with how things have gone, with the fact this was Scout. He probably realizes that MaSa is not just going to let him take advantage of that or anything, so JonSnow just keeping them to the side and waiting for a moment where he maybe can use these a little bit more effectively. As the first two Hellions do come out onto the map, and we'll be starting to move across towards the bottom right-hand side. So Ling goes forwards. Where are the Marines? Okay, just hanging back. It is a medevac behind us, so this is looking like a bit of a hellbat attack here. Probably wants to throw down that armory, and there is the armory coming down, so armory is getting placed as these two Hellions of MaSa coming across to, again, poke around a little bit, so that Hellion's going to be poking and prodding. Indeed, and again, there is that armory. So MaSa setting up with this armory is coming to be in about halfway through in the next couple of moments. And this hellbat attack is about to kick off, as JonSnow doesn't really have a lot to deal with this just yet. He's got a few lings coming out now. He's got, what, 4 queens? It's really not that much at all. He'll have 5 queens perhaps by the time this attack really kicks into play. I mean, this is going to be 6 hellbats and the medevac and marines as well, though. Banshee followed up to Tech Lab on that starport just now, finishes up. A Bane Nest begins, but wow, it's going to take a while for that to finish. It's definitely not going to be on time to be part of at least the early stages of this attack. Marines starting to unload. The medevac will start to take some hits as well. The MaSa's just going to start targeting down this third hatchery, so third hatch starting to take some damage here. But actually one of them goes down already, and Queens continue to drop at the moment, as we're going to see those lings continue to disappear too. Oh my god, these Marines are doing so much as well, chasing down this Queen. Now the third hatchery in general is still just in trouble. More lings on the way out. This medevac still not being targeted properly though. This Queen pops and just instantly dies. And MaSa will see those Banes just now starting to morph, so he knows that these are just now coming in. He knows he's got quite a bit of time where he can sort of target them down if he wants to. The Marines are going to do that because they don't have to get up close and personal like the Hellbats do. As right now the Hellbats are finally cleaned up, but it feels as though MaSa got a lot of damage done here. You see this medevac coming back up to this side. We'll be able to kind of heal up some of this lower health Hellbat for now. Drops it to the other side of those two. It's actually still 5 Hellbats here. Oh, the medevac will go down now. Two Hellions are maybe not sure if they want to actually morph into Hellbats just yet. As he chases in, he's going to get a couple of these Queens at least. And here come the rest of the Zerglings coming in again. The Hellbats kind of stack up together to maximize their kind of lifeline here. Obviously, if they stay alive and stacked up, they're going to not be surrounded as easily, and so the Lings can't get rid of them so quick. MaSa goes into Bio behind this. The stim pack's already starting. And again, he's just kept JonSnow on such a low work count for so long, as now he's just going to be throwing down the third CC. These Lings going to be moving back in towards the middle of the map here. JonSnow not going to be able to do anything still against a fully walled off Terran. Hey, at least he kept the third hatchery up. And by the way, the Starport, which built a tech lab, he did build 2 Banshees, and they are now on the way across the map. First Banshee got 1 kill, probably just a Zergling. Looks as though they want to join up together before moving forwards here. The double spore on this third hatch means that it's really unlikely they're going to get anything done here. But maybe they can do something if they go between the bases. There's no lair up for a... Oh, sorry, there is a lair up, so there's overseers available. I mean, there's still chances of kind of, well, finding a couple Morphin Banes, for example, bits and pieces like this. I mean, even coming in over here, you can sit on the edge of the bin line. There's 3 drones just like that going down. So that's nicely done. Already 3 workers there, and, well, again, the Queens with an overseer will be able to see this. Gets a Crypt Team of 2, will just uncloak to save some energy, and he gets out of there with both of his units. Still, this Zergling just sat over on the left. Another Zergling up to the top, and the stim pack upgrade still just coming through right now for MaSa. 1-1 melee upgrades from JonSnow. Also just building up into his next stage of the game, obviously with the upgrades and all, but a little bit behind the 1-1 of MaSa, so that does open again just a couple of moments, a couple of opportunities where MaSa can maybe get something a little bit extra done throughout all of this. This Banshee's going to start working their way through those rocks. Hydralisk Den on the way up currently for JonSnow, and as the Hydralisk Den comes up, obviously we see basically this mid-game, which we're very much so expecting. Ling, Bane, Hydra, that combination, which is just so very good for the Zerg, and is so awesome at kind of playing out very strong mid-games with, and so on. Creep continues to spread on out, and we do see some Creep Tumors up the right-hand side, especially kind of really taking over this sort of area. More Creep also coming through the center, and we're going to see these few Hellions are going to come into the middle again. We'll just clean out 1 Zergling to the top side, 1 Zergling to the bottom side. Very nicely done. Just map control in general here for MaSa, as his tank count is been building up from the early stages, so he already has a few of these, and he's actually going to start pushing with the 1-1 upgrades. No combat shields is one thing he's missing out on if he does want to get aggressive with this, and probably something he would miss is the Lings do grab those Hellions. They stay just a bit too aggressive on creep for a bit too long. It's a shame. I mean, 4 Hellions doesn't seem like a lot at this stage, but if they become 4 Hellbats, they will soak up some damage in a larger fight. Also need to see our Terran player being a little bit careful, because right now there is not a second there's not a 2-2 upgrade starting. He needs to get those started at some stage here. He started his armor, but not his attack. He needs to make sure he's not forgetting that, because going down an upgrade, that's really not where he wants to be at against this composition of the Zerg. Being an upgrade leaves one of the big things a Terran usually has to play with. Two Banshees sort of leading the charge in. Marines are going to stem forwards, and again, Lings, Banes, and Hydras staying a little bit spread out down to this bottom right side here. Thinking about whether they want to try and push into this or not, perhaps. I love this spread of the tanks, though, just slowly pushing in towards this 4th base, and you know, bringing the tank up to the high ground and so on. I mean, the tank on the high ground becomes very difficult to deal with here. Scan comes down, and the tank will reveal itself. Even the creep spread just being kept very far back, very limited creep spread being allowed out onto the map. A couple changes get targeted down amongst all of this. MaSa with some very quick target firing in that situation. He has not got his +2 attack going as well, so he didn't forget that. Now combat shield's finishing. Maybe he can attack a bit more aggressively into this, but it's so difficult with so many Hydras. A few Lings to the top side going to try and counter-attack in, but a set of depots will be good. Some Lings towards the natural expansion going to do some damage as well. I'm not sure why we don't have WCS Game Hard on. If you actually see the Hydras take the opportunity, and they will be able to push through this. The reinforcements just aren't quite here for a while. Without the reinforcements here, those tank numbers disappearing, and JonSnow is going to crush his way through the center of the map while having killed SCVs across the map. Obviously, that's been going pretty well, as those Marines going to get to work once again. Those Lings continue to drop. Mule's dropping down too. JonSnow definitely put himself in a good position there. taking a couple of fights that really did just go his way. Lings and Hydras gathering up on this base down here. Another few Banes coming through. And another Viper on the way up. 2 Medivacs from MaSa coming in towards the upper right-hand side. And they once again going to continue to unload. Marines just continue to come out. And they'll be steering in towards this hatchery in the next few moments as well. Hatchery taking some more hits. And we are going to see the Marines loading up into those Medivacs once again. 2 more Medivacs just coming out here and just going to be joining up towards these siege tanks. And the barracks is going to throw down another couple of tech labs. Ultra's Cavern coming up in the natural expansion. JonSnow is still coming to the top side with this Lingbane Hydra. Marines going to stim on in, and they are going to get themselves a hatchery kill here perhaps in the next couple of moments. Hatchery goes down. So MaSa, good job on this base. Again, using these drops to just keep JonSnow distracted. JonSnow getting towards the Ultra's Cavern though, so he is going to be able to get into that stage. Again, MaSa starts the armor upgrade, but not the weapon upgrade, and you gotta wonder about that, because it isn't usually kind of how this goes at all. Usually it would be the weapon upgrade that gets upgraded and the armor upgrade forgotten about. Maybe he just presses his upgrade slightly differently, like in a different order to... I mean, I would, if I'm in Terran plane, I'm starting 2-2, I always press, you know, to start weapons and then start armor. I wonder if MaSa does it the other way around, so sometimes he just does it and he doesn't have the gas for weapons or so. It's just weird that he started the armor upgrade twice in this game. Just you know, even though it wasn't for long, just a few seconds before the attack. I'll just on the way up then, and MaSa has begun to kind of establish himself a setup against this with the second starport coming through. The fusion core obviously for the tech lab and for the Liberator range. We'll be going into that in the next few moments here. Into the middle, we'll pick off another couple of Zerglings, and more of these Zerglings are going to keep running on in. Well, again, just MaSa not being able to do too much here, and JonSnow really starting to get creep out onto the map. Lingering by top right again is also going to be able to turn those Zerglings back. And he's going to keep on stepping back, jumping into this Medivac. Lings and Banes trying to chase down this siege tank too, and well, in general, MaSa's been pretty good in the last few moments against these run-bys. Again, his full face established here, as it looks as though JonSnow might want to get aggressive. But he only currently has a couple of Ultras in the middle. I'm not really sure if he can attack into this many tanks. Well, yes, he has Vipers. And those tanks are pretty stacked up, and there's a couple not even sieged. Marines going to try and target down the Vipers very quickly, and a couple of it does whiff those blinding clouds. And MaSa needs to try and get everything back into position ASAP. Those tanks are actually doing quite a lot here, and actually, it doesn't feel as though JonSnow was able to push through there at all. He does get kind of shot, pushed back. MaSa with these Marines over here will just scan for creep as he finds himself without the ability to find any hatchery. Obviously, not a bad thing. If there's no hatchery to kill, then, you know, it means that the hatchery's not there anyways. So it's still just the same, as we do have the Lings, Ultras, and Hydras coming up to the top side, and these Medivacs just setting up top as well and thinking about maybe where they want to go next. Marine's going to pull back here. So the rest of the army, as we do see Lings hitting this wall, but not going to be able to make much progress there. And Marines continue to unload on the upper right hand side, and a little bit more coming through the middle as more Lings, Ultras, and Hydras, etc. coming through the center too. Continue to push against this army of MaSa. Keeping MaSa away from the centralized position. We do see that advanced ballistics coming up then, so it took a little while. The fusion core's been done for a long time here. Again, into the real late game of this TvZ. We saw already JonSnow against Keen today got into a real late game scenario as well. He took 22 minutes to take game number 2 off of Keen, which was in a long macro game. Bane's going to come over to the left-hand side, and the Palandry Fortress there for siege tank support should be enough to shut this down for the most part, to the point where JonSnow doesn't even commit into it just yet. Still 2 Medivacs units top right, still a Medivac of units down here as well, though that's going to get found by... Looks as though JonSnow just trying to set up a run-by or so. That kind of gets found, so the Ultras are kind of running through the center, the Marines pull back, and the tank fire will support them. JonSnow's just looking to attack from kind of all locations at the same time at the moment. Obviously trying to really pull MaSa around the place, and well, maybe punish him for just focusing so much in the center. There's that kind of big stim in on the right-hand side, though, and MaSa will be able to get himself a hatchery, it seems like. The units of JonSnow just so far out, as those Banes are, for some reason, not helping against the Warlock here. They're going to get taken down by the Bio, at least. As we are going to see these Marines just forgotten about for a moment, as obviously MaSa dealing with other bits of harassment and other attacks on the map. Doesn't have the APM or the focus at that time to get rid of them here. As we're going to see Corruptors coming forward to help against those Liberators. The Abduct's going huge as well in a lot of these units. Is there enough to keep on fighting against these siege tanks? Corruptors still fighting in the skies. The medevac's going down, and JonSnow seems as though he just has a little bit too much. And he's going to keep on pushing through all of this here. He is going to be able to take MaSa down. MaSa is out of, well, pretty much everything right now. He really has nothing left at all. He's got a few Liberators, I guess, and that's about it. But JonSnow is just rebuilding so quickly. 7 Ultras in the production tab. It's going to be huge for him, of course. JonSnow playing this very well so far here, and again, just seems so comfortable in the just seems so comfortable in the kind of the late stages of TvZ. He seems as though he's really happy with his playstyle. Like, his composition seems good. It's yeah, it seems as though he really is just at a state of his game here that if he gets to this point, he's very happy and very comfortable again, and being able to do it all. As we're going to be seeing this little bit of a bio from MaSa. Set up in the center, some links to the top side. A few Broodlords on the way up right now for JonSnow, as we do just see again the Lings and Ultras and Queens showing up on the ground here. Bio comes in, and we are going to be seeing a lot of these Lings coming into the middle too. MaSa's going to get a chance to max out once again. But considering how these previous fights have gone, is maxing out even going to help him enough? A drop to the top right, and already JonSnow's on his way to deal with it. Although he is getting his Ultras chased back in the center, they get back onto creep at least. As we are going to see this hatchery taking quite a few hits, so Hatchery taking some shots right now. He's going to be seeing the Ultras. He'll pick off a couple Marauders. The Corruptors coming through as well, and pushing that medevac back. Run by doesn't do too much at all, as we saw. Maybe 1 or 2 SCV kills. As Brood's coming into the middle well again. What does MaSa have to deal with Broodlords? Answer absolutely nothing at the moment. Set up the Liberators. Obviously the idea being the Liberators can maybe help to stop the rest of the army from coming through into this, as the Marauders starting to do their job against these Ultras, but well, the Abducts come through, and honestly the Libs are just disappearing. JonSnow just has way too much here. And now the Liberators aren't really going to be able to do too much else. Maybe he could unsiege the Liberators and fight against the Broods, actually, and into the Corruptors, because there's nothing else to really use on the ground. Mighty Force is being kept alive here. Maybe if he can keep on repairing it, it will stay alive. The Ultras are getting very low in numbers. He should have unsieged these Liberators. He will get rid of these these Broods a little bit faster. Maybe he's just waiting for even more units to come on through. I mean, okay, JonSnow actually loses pretty much everything in this. MaSa lost a base, and that's kind of huge right now, as these Libs... Again, just these 2 Liberators, man. Just sat here, just sieged up, doing absolutely nothing based on where the rest of the units were at this stage. And now MaSa is going to try and chase down. I mean, honestly, catching a couple of these Ultras on the exit is huge for him. Even if it's just 1, it's 6 supply. And this game is scrappy enough for 6 supply to really count here at this moment. Drop top side, shut down once again. This hatchery is so low. JonSnow has a hatch on this side as well, though, and that's obviously a pretty big deal, as Lib sieging on up. Problem is those units have already kind of ran through the liberation zones. We're going to see Vikings and Libs actually fighting against Corruptors. I mean, JonSnow hasn't actually had the chance currently to make these into Broodlords or anything, and well, funny enough, it is going to be the Corruptors going down. MaSa's actually just not got enough to fight against the Zerglings at the moment. I guess he's got a little bit of bio here. He's going to try and drop in liberation zones and use those shots to help out. MaSa's still losing our army supply a little bit, but he's got a lot of kind of, again, Sky Army, really. That is helping to pick off drones and more. He's going to hold on. These Lings are going down. This Ultralisk too, if they go down as well, I mean, there isn't actually a lot left on the ground for JonSnow. 2 Ultras, 1 Hydra, 40 Zerglings. I mean, again, the air units here have just been putting in absolute work, and now they're going to start targeting down this hatchery. I mean, there's nothing really here to again, defend on the ground. I guess that's where the few Hydras are going to start coming into play. And the scan will reveal a few of those Hydras, and so MaSa's going to keep his units alive and pull them back. Lands this base, and even just if he can get like a whole bunch of mules down onto this mineral line, I mean, that would be a big chunk of being able to keep himself secure here. Really working his way through those rocks, and it's going to be opening up further access. We see Zerglin's going to be able to run on through and deny this base. These consistent run bys of JonSnow have been fantastic so far. Again, Vikings in high enough number to push Corruptors back, but it means there isn't that much on the ground. JonSnow would take the threat, though. I guess the issue is with so many Vikings, the Liberators are just so powerful, right? The Hydras can't fight them because they can't get close enough. Oh man, this run by is annoying, but there is Marines on their way over, but he's not close enough at the moment. MaSa is still losing a lot of SCVs, down to 31 workers in the game, but now he's making progress through base after base of his opponent. And right now, JonSnow doesn't have much of an economy left either. If we look at the income graph, which we can't do because of the fact that we don't have Game Hard on. Why don't we have Game Hard on? I don't understand. He's going to drop up into the main base. No, I mean, the Hydra count has definitely been increasing. I think that's one of the scary things at the moment. And there is the Abduct available. The Vikings need to get in front and shut those Vipers down. He cannot afford for these Vipers to throw down a bunch of Abducts onto those Liberators, because the Liberators are so crucial to his play at the moment. And those Liberators are doing huge damage here to the Hydras and all sorts. And again, if the Hydras go down, the Ultras will be soon to follow. And suddenly MaSa is up in supply. And these guys are playing a crazy game one, which is just in the end going to go the way of MaSa. One insane. I'm full time casting StarCraft 2, producing StarCraft 2 content, etc. And it's all because of you guys and your support. So if you want to support further, you can subscribe. If you've got that Twitch Prime, you can subscribe for free. And of course, don't forget the other ways to support too. But for now, let's introduce the players. To the top left-hand side, our blue Terran. It is MaSa. And to the bottom right, from Psystorm Gaming, it's the red Zerg player. It is JonSnow. And game number 2 will be the 2 racks here from MaSa. Let's see if JonSnow is going to pull first, hatch first, or what his plan currently is. No drone moving to the low ground, but there it is. Hatchery first is obviously already a good startup here from the Terran's perspective, because that's exactly what he wants the Zerg to be doing. So hatchery comes down, and we do see the 2 barracks starting to build, and they are in a position where the Overlord, the first Overlord, will not see it. The second Overlord is just going to sit at the front and watch for a bunker, which means he won't be able to necessarily respond immediately to the fact that 2 racks are coming up. But now he moves it to the wrong side to see this at all. So the 2 racks is going to be completely unscouted here. He'll start to take a gas at home. It's not for Reapers or anything. He is going to be producing Marines in this. The gas at home is just going to allow him to go into a factory and transition out. There's only 2 racks is something that you will generally be able to transition out of. It's not a full-on all-in. It's very much so more of a pressure build. Unless it gives nothing at all, then you really are in a bit of trouble. But much more of a pressure build than anything else here. As we do see this SCV coming forwards, and already a bunker coming up, and again JonSnow. Okay, he'll actually see this right now because he did start to bring this Overlord back, and immediately a chunk of drones being pulled into this. 10 workers moving forwards, but the second bunker could come down in a moment. And only 1 Marine right now has to keep on running. Has to be a little bit careful here as the first SCV going to get caught, but the SCV building the bunker is okay for now. It's actually in a corner that can't really do too much, as we're going to see the second Marine popping out. And those drones are not going to be able to do much either. The bunker's actually still taking damage. And the SCV is going to get around to start repairing it. And it looks as though the Marine, I guess, will struggle to get into the bunker, right, is the issue. Because the drones are whole positioning. But he has high ground vision, so he can pick away at the drones. It's kind of a huge deal in and of itself. Gets another couple of kills here. 2 more Marines coming in, but now Zergling's out. SCV is probably going to go down here. Realizes the bunker is as well. He's just going to die for the main base with 2 more Marines. I mean, what a weird little setup here right from the get-go, as we are going to see 1 more drone. So 6 workers and a lot of mining time lost already. A lot of mining time lost, and that's a big thing to keep in mind here, as we're going to see those couple of Marines behind those racks. I love the position of this. He has a little bit of a choke point here he can use. He has the choke point here. And he kind of creates a wall if the Lings try and come around that he can kite around, etc. Back at home, factory coming up, so he can set up into maybe a Hellion production or so. And it is a Hellion right away to deal with some Zerglings that are heading across. The thing for JonSnow is he has to be very careful of how much he drones, because there is Marines still producing. These barracks are not lifting up. They're not heading back home. They are going to be looking to make Marines and kind of do some damage with them. Right now, 1 queen on the low ground. The other queen is actually building, but there's only 1 queen. I guess that's because of a lack of income earlier in this game. And now, well, these Marines arrive, and what does JonSnow have? Well, 4 Zerglings. that have no link speed, of course, just yet. Yeah, that's not brilliant. He's losing a drone already. Again, the Queen taking some shots too. More Zerglings are on the way out. MaSa needs to be careful about what he target fires, of course. We'll want to focus on these Zerglings initially. We'll get back towards the Queen. If he gets the Queen kill, it's another nice pickup. And now the barracks have lifted up, and they are heading back home. The one Hellion to keep him safe, as we are going to be seeing the reactor coming through. One thing I noticed that JonSnow did build here was he was starting Pneumatized Carapace, but he actually decided to cancel that and just go Link Speed instead. I don't know if he had some sort of plan for it, or if it was just a misclick in the first place. For a moment I was like, well, maybe he wants to like counter all in with some sort of drop play. Like drop Queens across the map as a counter, because there may not be many units out to deal with that, but obviously not, as the Hellion comes in just in time to, oh my god, block the hatchery. And then he blocked the extractor. That was a sick little back and forward. MaSa just slowing JonSnow down as much as possible off the back of this opening. His orbital on the natural, or not on the natural, but soon to be on the natural, is finished up as well. He's going to get this Viking kill. JonSnow's already supply blocked, so losing this Overlord is going to keep him supply blocked. And everything right now is all about MaSa with the way that things are going. The starboard actually cancels the tech lab, I guess, that was building, and instead begins to build up a Liberator. 2 Hellions about to pop him, so he is going to be able to hold the wall against these Zerglings too, so they're not going to be able to do too much. Slowing down the CC on the natural at least. The Viking on the map, and I mean, 2 Hellions soon become 4, and with 4 Hellions you really will be able to push back those Zerglings without much issue. Still 30 workers apiece, and you can see here MaSa has pretty much been the player of the income lead throughout, and if anything right now it's evening up just slightly. He really needs to just saturate his low ground, and that's what he's going to be able to do now finally, with 4 Hellions being out. JonSnow will not be able to come in here, and that CC will land. And again, saturating this natural expansion, MaSa should be feeling pretty good about it, although he actually does still need to land the CC. MaSa needs to land the CC though, of course, as he goes into a third rack. So he already has a third CC as well. Finished before the Zerg's third hatchery is finished up, so definitely MaSa in a fantastic position so far. Again, the Zerg though has a good work account, 40 to 33, definitely starting to take that work lead you expect from a Zerg player right now. As you do see the Lair, Evo Chamber, and the Roach Warren also coming through. And things like this Liberator, for example, are just so very good at just keeping the Zerg playing just a little bit of trouble here, just keeping workers off minerals. You know, look at this, drones pulling all the way away, you know, 1 or 2 drones went down. It all adds up. As you're going to see, that Roach Rowan is coming in for JonSnow, so he's going to be playing a Roach-based style. I wonder kind of how exactly. He's got a lot of Roaches on the way, or will have a lot of Roaches on the way. 43 drones and 250 gas. He's not making more workers. It's 100% going to be further Roach production. There it is, 8 Roaches. Pneumatized Carapace obviously maybe looking to bring the Queens across as well. The Queens would be very good at shutting down something like a, you know, it's like a Banshee-based defense against those Roaches. And there is double Dropper Lord. MaSa doesn't see this though, that's the thing. He doesn't see this at all, and oh, will he see this at all? He's actually moving forward with a few Marines. What's he hunting for? Just this Overlord? It's actually not a bad pickup. He sees the Pneumatized Carapace though, coming in very late. I wonder if he kind of figures or thinks of something might be up because of that. Even his Hellions have been very passive though, keeping these at home. He's been very passive with everything. Now Stim's not far away, and Stim could have a big part of kind of defending this, but just the lack of a bunker is really going to be very painful here. Oh my god, the Viking sees the Dropper Lords. So now MaSa does know, and I think immediately you have to start building some bunkers up of your own. Seeing the Queens dropping out, surely this is a sign. Okay, now he starts up a bunker. Hellion's going towards the third base where he's going to clean up a Zergling. Roach is morphing into Ravages as well, and I think just one bunker might not even be enough. The tank has to be careful too, because again, with the drops, you can drop on top of that tank and shut it down very quickly, very easily. Couple of mules on the third for now. Lings are going to look to drop in the main at the same time. So JonSnow looking to hit with this multi-pronged aggression. Looking to flood through with Lings behind this as well. There is an open wall. As you are going to see, those Roaches going to reveal themselves on the third base initially here. The Marines do have that stim, and they stim very early. And honestly, the first tank shot does a lot. Dodges away from that cross. Oh! Steps back into another bile though. There's that drop load in the main with Zergling, so that's going to look to do quite a bit here. That's what I like this from MaSa. He's already very aware of it. And he actually just sends a medevac and Marines into the main. Pretty much the perfect response because it's not too much. And it's going to be able to get a little bit done. 6 workers lost so far as he tries to dive a mineral line of the Zerg player. But Zergling's coming out reinforced and do manage to catch this here. But MaSa is actually just going to force JonSnow to go back home. And JonSnow making Overlords. Looking as though he's just going to try and macro up from this position. So Overlord's a little bit stuck. I just guess JonSnow doesn't really know where to send it. New Viking starts to build. I love that as JonSnow. Okay, he is not going to be aggressive, macroing. He is going to continue with this aggression. His army supply is way up there, but now he doesn't have an upgrade. Well, he never had an upgrade lead, but now it's 1-1 finish from MaSa. Medevacs are coming out. The siege tank count's increasing too. 2 tanks over here. I mean, MaSa has to be very careful that those tanks don't just get left kind of out on their own or anything. It's a very kind of far forward position. Those tanks are stacked too, so the Ravager Battles do a lot. Marines start stepping forward to try and do something here as well. One more tank in the back is maybe going to be dropped on top of in the next few moments. And those Queens are going to start doing some damage. Marines will stim on down and pick off the Dropper Lord. Now target firing down these Queens. The Ravagers will come on in as well, though. Corrosive Battles, and that's going to be goodbye Siege Tank. And MaSa's army supply just isn't there. He was being way too greedy trying to hold the third base against this, it seems. SCV's pulling in. Still, the Marine camp could do this with SCV support, and he is way up in SCV, so he can afford to pull them in for a while. The Vikings start to chase down those Overlords that have been coming across the map a little bit haphazardly. Actually, yeah, JonSnow is going to lose a couple of those. MaSa is really desperate to target them down. Ravagers focusing on the third base. Marines are being healed by these Medevacs. One Medevac gets caught in the Corrosive Val, gets another Ravager. What's over here? More Marines able to come on through. Reinforcing Lings and Roaches at the moment. Another couple of battles. We're going to see this Roach getting chased again. The Marines with Stim able to do a lot. I think MaSa should lift up and leave from this position. He will start to do that now. This tank as well. A few more Marines. He's going to pull in towards the main base. He's going to lose the third CC. MaSa not lifting this up. I'll lift it up now, but obviously way too late. That's going to get Corrosive Val down no matter what. So he goes down to just 2 bases here. 55 workers. Still has 1-1. That's a big part of this, but his army supply is so low. JonSnow splitting up his units, but can't really come up this position because of these depots. One Medevac going across the map will force some units to go back home or to respond at least. The Marine's going to stim already, and those Lings do melt pretty quickly. The siege tank will get bowed down, but he got a few shots off, and right now the Marines do a good job. The Medevacs are now missing though, and so he's losing a little bit of the healing that was so good for him before. MaSa's making some real mistakes with the control here. You're going to see the tank is able to fire down. He gets rid of the Ravagers, and if there's not enough Ravagers, then the tank cannot be targeted instantly, and Civi's have to be pulled in again. +2 attack finished in all of this for MaSa, because again, now he has the Marines across the map, and they're going to start doing some real damage here. So they're going to start doing quite a bit, but the SCV count is disappearing. MaSa just needs another chunk of units to finish up and to come out to help them defend this. The 2-2 will go a long way, and again, he's doing a lot across the map. This Medevac out of energy, but still, the Marines just slaughtering those Zerglings with the 2-2 upgrades. He lifts up, he'll get away. More units coming down the low ground back at home. JonSnow has been pushed back once again. And so 26 SCV, 39 drones. Remember, there's no third CC now, and that's one of the big things. MaSa's rebuild it though, so he actually will have a third CC back up. Okay, well that's going to be huge. Man, that drop from MaSa doing some damage as well. And already shown us kind of the power of 2-2 upgrades, and MaSa has held on. So MaSa holding on right now. Still just slightly behind in army supply. Down in workers as well, as JonSnow will start to focus on droning up, but with a triple orbital soon again, we should be okay. MaSa made a lot of control mistakes in this. You know, a couple of Ravager battles hitting where they really should have been dodged. Maybe kind of sometimes leaving the tanks too exposed, and especially the first moment or two when these tanks were out here on their own, he shouldn't ever have been out defending the third base in this location, but obviously he felt as though JonSnow had backed away, and so he was just trying to be greedy and get the third base going already. I wouldn't have minded him minding from the third base, but then just defending the natural, so that if the attack comes to the third, he just evacuates it right away. And a few mistakes. Losing the third CC obviously is also a little bit of a mistake in all of this. Raptors upgrade finishes up, so JonSnow's starting to close in on the upgrade disadvantage. Equal on workers now, with triple orbital obviously, or soon to be triple orbital. This equal on workers scenario is generally not good for the Zerg. He's getting pretty decent creep spread considering this was an aggressive attack early, and he did commit his Queens across the map to attack rather than to spread creep, etc. at home. Medevac unloading over on this side, he'll stim on in, he picks up the creep team right away. The units will respond very quickly from MaSa. I just wonder if it matters if there's already 2-2 on these units. They're going to shred their way through a lot of this, and he'll just stim forwards. He gets a couple of Ravagers here, and I mean, it's just efficiency. He picks off so many Lings and 2 Ravagers for 8 Marines. I mean, that's 200 gas just down the drain. I'm not sure how I feel about the Liberators. The Liberators are something that might help defensively, and I guess he can harass, but obviously with so many Ravagers up, there's definitely an answer to them. Suddenly JonSnow on 60 drones against 40 SCVs just exploded in terms of work count in the last few moments. Then the 4th hatch up as well, so you can actually make use of this. Obviously a pretty big deal. Still, the upgrades is kind of the big thing here, and even as kind of upgrades continue for the Zerg, free is on the way for the Terran play also. So that'll be finishing in the next couple of minutes, I guess. Viking moving around the right-hand side. Marines in the middle, going to be doing their job of cleaning up the creep spread and taking away some of that Berserk map control. Liberators have sieged up, and that's already 8 kills combined between the two of them. Yeah, very nearly gets a Ravager kill here as well, and JonSnow's decision just to not pull these drones away. Cost him 12 workers. Finally, he's going to clean up both these Liberators. Maybe one more shot? No, not quite. But a couple of drones that were building got cancelled by the Liberator there on the natural as well. Well, MaSa playing against Lingbane Ravager. Again, the upgrade lead will be huge for him right now. His tank count, not brilliant, but building. And he has moved his main base orbital over towards a 4th base, which obviously makes a lot of sense given the way this game has gone. What's that? Bane drop? A little bit of a Bane drop here as we see a lot of this crew spread being cleaned out. What I love about this from MaSa is the upgrade lead allows him to trade very well with just pure Marine. But also, by kind of pushing forwards here, he can obviously lift up everything that he needs to at any moment in time to kind of get away and kind of, escape. He should never really be in fear of losing these medevacs, which is really nice. It means he can apply this pressure without kind of concern. Hive on the way up now from JonSnow. MaSa just lost 13 workers, which is why I looked back at the Terran base for a while. I guess it was maybe a Bane drop or so that I just didn't see coming in. So apologies for that, but a few workers going down, so keep that in mind that he did just lose a few workers in amongst all of this. Medevac's going to boost out onto the map. MaSa needs to be a little bit more careful now as the upgrades obviously kind of even out a little bit. He can't be as aggressive as he was. He can't take the trades that he was maybe taking a minute or two ago. As JonSnow is able to kind of stabilize a lot from where he was. You can see this drop coming in. The Bane drop in 2 locations could kill off so many workers. MaSa responds over here though. He'll stim after it as well. In the natural he didn't respond and pull his workers away, but seems to have only lost 5 workers overall in this. There's no orbital in the main base anymore, so no point being over here. So you're going to see MaSa still with those units trying to do a little bit of something extra. The 2 medevac's going to head in towards the main base. Again, there's no real anti-air or kind of hydras or anything, so medevacs are very free to just harass around and keep on dropping. And that's what MaSa's realizing. There's no answer to drop play apart from just having units in position. And that's not always going to be the answer for the Zerg. It's very difficult to do that. So these drops are starting to do quite a bit. And picking off a few drones here, for example, in the main, he's going to target a whole chunk more drones down. And he just stims away here a little bit. He'll still even get a couple more. 9 workers killed. He's in the natural expansion too. Just a few medevacs spread out around the bases. Just causing some chaos and keeping the Zerg pinned back and keeping JonSnow from thinking about maybe setting up more drops and more attacks of his own in this game number 2. MaSa still leading 1-0. As we are going to be seeing those Zerglings. With JonSnow going to be coming around the left-hand side. A few Banes going to be dropping in towards the natural here in a moment or so as the tank. Helping out a little bit with the initial Ling kind of attempt to run by, but actually with the Marines nearby, he's going to clean up those Lings without issue. But 7 workers still, just from friendly fire. That siege tank actually kills off, and the tank on the high ground too, kills off a lot of units here, a lot of SCVs, when trying to actually save them. Well, a supply lead MaSa is currently pushing forward with siege tanks, and he'll take that very popular position on this side of the rocks. He has an upgrade lead still, remember, and he actually has drops still kind of harassing around. Now, Vipers just popped, but they don't have energy just yet, which makes this push timing from MaSa definitely something that could work out for himself. He's trying to work his way through the rocks. 33 upgrades, of course, remember, is going to be very powerful, and these Vipers are consuming up, so they'll have energy very soon. Oh my god, the tanks are not sieged here right away, and Bane's dropping in. The corrosive files initially were kind of deadly as well. I think MaSa was just not quite ready for his opponent to maybe be aggressive there. He tries to split up those tanks a little bit, but they're still stacked like 2 at a time. And you barrel correctly, and you will just kill those off with 1 set of barrels apiece. Nice target fire on a Viper though, and he's actually maybe going to try and keep on chasing the Vipers here. No, now he is going to be able to get around the Vipers, able to get themselves in a bit of a better position. Drops a parasitic bomb on a medevac too. Parasitic bomb actually does a lot of damage nowadays, so you have to respond to it. You have to split up. Still just fighting here, but the upgrade lead is starting to disappear. The final set of upgrades from the Zergs finally coming through, and it is going to be for the Ultra switch. And those Ultras are going to be coming out here very shortly. Medevac got spiraled down. MaSa's just not been able to do anything with these fights. He does now have a 4th CC, which will become a 5th base. Liberator still moving around. Oh my god, he has to go and take these medevacs home. A, there's no units over here anyways, and B, they're so low on health. He does not want to lose all these medevacs, especially at a stage of the game where he should be looking to start taking down some ultras with Liberators, aka starting up Liberator production. So medevacs go back and he does pull SCVs and start repairing them up. MaSa's reinforcing army is kind of scary here, but again, his upgrade lead is not going to be there for too much longer, and Ultra's starting to come out, so he has to be very cautious with how he decides to try and fight with this. Drone's going down again. There was a Liberator moving around. It is on this natural expansion. Spore Crawler will relocate and we'll be able to take that Liberator down then. As now we see Ling, Roach, Ravager will push in towards this fourth base. A little bit of a run by to the left, gets shut down pretty quick, but MaSa needs to come in with the rest of his army to deal with this. Well, there isn't many Banes, I have to say, which I thought as though there would be more of at this stage. He actually has the Lings running in towards the fourth, though. They are going to be able to commit there. Another stim from MaSa, and well, only 7 workers as MaSa starts to collect all of his units together. They do run into good positions, and this didn't do as much with JonSnow as I thought it might have done. He does have a second Ultra coming up, but it's only 2 Ultras, and that's one of his issues as well here. The Ultraless count is really just not maybe what it needs to be to do significant damage. This Liberator is going to be going down before he gets the final shot on that Queen. He does see the Spire, but JonSnow is so gas-starved. He's been limited to the 4 bases throughout this game, and also he's had to make a lot of Ravagers to make his playstyle work. With all the Ravagers, it does make it difficult in other ways. We're going to be seeing pushing forwards with pretty much pure bio at the moment. Again, has to be somewhat careful with this. Loads up most of these units, and looks as though MaSa's just backing away here. Does he continue to build tanks? He's got a couple up from earlier. He actually has some tanks spread all over the place. Imagine you maybe had these tanks that he left defensively in one of these attacks towards the front earlier. I mean, 6 tanks there instead of 4 would have made a huge difference, and maybe could have been enough to actually take the fight a bit more comfortably. Bio is unloading over to the south side from MaSa as well. A bunch of these units going to load up into medevacs, and well, again, we'll be looking to drop in the next few moments, I imagine. It's a big drop he's setting up, and again, he has to be so careful of parasitic bombers, for example. But if he's threatening with the rest of his army, I guess he has to be very careful he doesn't just get overrun with the rest of the army here. The tanks will scare his opponent away for now. JonSnow actually sees these medevacs coming through, so he is going to look to respond. He is bringing units into position. I mean, the problem is there's just nothing to, again, still shut these down. Finally, Corruptor's coming out. We'll be able to start doing a little bit of something. MaSa's just going to reposition his medevacs to come in towards this. Oh my god, he's actually going to catch a Viper with the drop. Well, that's kind of huge, though. These medevacs are still looking to see what they can do. These tanks are very much so left on their own. These medevacs are diving back in towards the main. JonSnow cleans up a lot here. MaSa, I feel, is trying to get a little bit too fancy because, well, I don't understand what he's going to do with these medevacs still, right? I mean, it's not like JonSnow's just going to forget they existed, right? Now Corruptors are out, it becomes a bit of a scarier scenario where he will maybe start losing some of these. And it just left so much of MaSa's army on the low ground, undefended, not really able to do anything, especially the tanks were just so kind of exposed. He got punished for that heavily here. And you see a few units going to start unloading. Probably wants to stem these ones back already a little bit. Is MaSa just on pure bio right now? A few Liberators coming into play. Well, the Ultra's count has risen dramatically in recent times. And that Ultra count is obviously going to be one of the big things that helps out our Zerg player taking the better engagements as this game moves on through. 23 minutes in, and this one was a crazy one. Since the start of the game started up with that aggressive all-in attack from JonSnow. He did enough to transition. I really feel like MaSa's just been making a few mistakes here and there. Like, mistakes that, as an observer, I think are very apparent when you kind of see him kind of miscontrolling a unit here and just making a couple questionable decisions. When, you know, from what we see, it's like, well, like a straight-up larger fight might just be enough. We'll deny the 6th base, which is something that's going to be important as the game goes by to kind of keep that sort of denial happening. It's going to be JonSnow with a few links here. Going to start surrounding some of these units. MaSa has the left-hand side he can kind of way towards. It's the Banes that will start to do some real damage. There's missile turrets here to help against Vipers if they come in and Corruptors too, if they want to try and fight this. These Ultras are going to start committing. I feel as though those Banes just did a lot of damage right now. This is going to be seeing MaSa is, well, MaSa is just going to die off to this. I think there's not going to be enough to defend this here. Corrosive Battles continue to come on down. There's still a few Liberators, but all of those libs are stacked, and that's been something throughout this game as well. Stacking up tanks, stacking up libs, and allowing Ravager Battles to just do so much damage, where they should have done maybe half as much per set of vials. JonSnow very well earned this game. From the 2 racks to the counter all in to having to defend all of this Terran aggression throughout. JonSnow has made it work. JonSnow has made it happen. Again, it looks like he's just going to be cleaning out here and taking this game number 2. It's going to be 1-1 between MaSa and JonSnow in this group, keeping both of them in very competitive positions to move on through to